easy. And I would have to say, based on my experiences yesterday and today, that the answer is definitely no. No! There was a freak storm in Atlantic Highlands yesterday. I was in my house and I got a message on my phone saying there was going to be a storm in 2.5 hours. No one else I know got that message, but I did. So I was kind of expecting it, but the sky got really dark and right on schedule, an enormous thunderclap above my house and my next door neighbors, then lightning coming down. I thought, okay, good time to take a shower. I took my flashlight with me into the bathroom. And good thing I did because the power went out and suddenly there I was in the dark under the shower. There were no windows in my bathroom. So I made it out in one piece. And then the lights dimmed, they came on. They dimmed, they came on. They dimmed, they came on. And I thought, oh, short without the R, we're going to lose power. I live right on the coast. Atlantic Highlands is coastal. John Barry used to live down the street from where I live now. And bingo, everything stopped. Yeah. The place went crazy. I had to get in the car to drive to Freehold. Do you need something, Bob? I had to get in the car to go to Freehold for the 91st birthday of my very good friend Helen, who played all the music at my 20th anniversary service, and you will see her playing a lot of music if you look at the YouTube video. It was very hard to get out of town. Highway 36 was closed down. Most of the traffic lights were not working. There were emergency vehicles up and down the streets in my neighborhood. And then when I finally got onto Highway 36, that I could cut across up into Middletown, which is much higher elevation than most of Atlantic Islands, you could see that roads were closed. There were cones everywhere, police vehicles, emergency squads, and so on. So I was late getting to Helen's, but that's okay. We had a fantastic dinner in the noisiest restaurant I have ever been in my life, and all of us held our ears like this. Helen took her hearing aids out. That's how loud it was. Eventually we got to her house for tea, and then I headed home, but I couldn't get home. Every road I went down stopped with cones across the road, and then I would have to find another road, so I did an extra 5-mile drive to get around all these roads and down to Atlantic Highlands, and then I couldn't get into Atlantic Highlands, so I had to do another route. When I finally got home, I walked inside and I thought, okay, no fans, no air conditioning. I was not happy. It was roasting. My cat was sacked out as flat as she could be, like a pancake on the float. And I thought, okay, Talia, you're not going outside. Because I was worried she'd find an electrical wire. Lots of wires were down the trees on top of it. 2 blocks from me, there was a house with a line of Norway spruce trees. It had snapped, literally like matchsticks. So the upper halves were hanging off the lower part of the trunks, all lined up on the road. And a lot of people had been out there looking at this. I tried to go to sleep. That was very I couldn't, the thing that killed me was I could deal with it. Air conditioners not being on, but I couldn't put the ceiling fans on. And that really stayed At 5 o'clock this morning, my beloved next door neighbor turned on the noisiest generator I have ever heard, and I wanted to throw it. I said, couldn't you wait till 8 o'clock? From 8 o'clock you can make as much noise as you want in Atlantic Highlands, but no. Instead, I sent an email and said, how about coffee? I know you can make it because you've got that noisy generator. So he wrote back and said, Mrs. Wilson, don't come over and complain. So we had coffee, and then he told me how he had freaked out all night long doing what he calls making buttons, which is obsessing about every possible thing that go wrong. And then he said something that really struck me, and I think it relates to our concerns times we live in, which is, climate change is not going to get better. It's going to be getting worse and worse. Our resources for dealing with it are going to be stretched to the limit and maybe beyond. And he said, and in conjunction with that, food supplies around the northern hemisphere are going to be sharply reduced. People are going to begin becoming very agitated, if not downright violent, fighting for survival in the new world that we seem to be moving into. And then he shocked me and said, I'm thinking about buying a gun. That really stopped me. And then I remembered that the locksmith who came to my house last year told me that he had a gun and that he goes to a shooting range in Monmouth County where he encounters all of his neighbors. This is in Belford and Leonardo, one town over. Everybody in his neighborhood has a gun. He meets them at the shooting range. And I said, so what are you planning to do with the gun? And he said, well, I'm going to do whatever needs to be done when the time comes. And I thought, what is this, apocalyptic thinking?
Yes.
What's going on with you? But I see, and having heard what Barb said about the ire and the disagreements that were going on in the General Assembly comments, that this is spreading across an enormous swath of life in this country. People on all sides are becoming very agitated about all kinds of things. So I don't think the summer's going to be easy. I don't think we're going to calm down. I'd like to think we will. I'd like to think we will come to our senses, but of course, being Unitarians, we understand that everybody has different senses. Everybody comes from a different point of view. And what are we going to do about it? One of the beauty parts of this congregation is that we make space for each other. We didn't all grow up in the same religion, if any religion. We didn't grow up in the same towns. We didn't grow up marrying people we've known our whole lives. We've all gone through lots of life changes to get to where we are today. We've seen a lot of diversity in our lives. And I personally think that's a good thing. I think we need to be more comfortable with diversity of all kinds, so that we can make more space for more of us. I'm not planning to buy a gun. My water pistol is enough for me. And I have to tell you, my daughter once got shouted at my neighbor because she put perfume in her water. And I took her to the park across the street from my house to spray a boy who was being really annoying and bothering her on the jungle gym. And I thought, good for you. I can see this because my porch looks right at the town park. And I heard the mother of this little boy who was really, and I could hear it, he was pestering me. She came on and how dare you do that? How dare you do that? Don't you know how dangerous that is? You could have shot him in the eye. And I thought, I would never fire a gun at someone's eyes. She gave my daughter holy hell, and then she went home. Came in, absolutely crushed. She said, I don't know what to do. I see her son in school every day, and she lives 2 houses away from us. And I said, you know, I think I'll go down to the school and talk to them. So I went to see this psychologist. I don't know what inspired me, but I did. And the psychiatrist said, our psychologist said, here's what I would recommend. You need to stay out of it. Just stay out of it. I know you know the woman. The woman had been my own student at Brookdale Community College. She was really freaked me out. The psychologist said, ask Zoe to write a note of apology. And I said, really? And she said, yes. And then suggested she take it and put it in the mailbox across the street from the house. So Zoe said to me, so what am I going to do? And I said, well, here's what I've been advised. I know that you have no intention of hurting my head. It never occurred to you to hurt her. You just wanted to get off the damn jungle gym and stop talking. I said, if you write a note to his mother, just simply say, I know you were really scared. Smelling the perfume is in my history. I want you to know I would never have hurt Michael, and I'm sorry you got so scared. And then she said, Mother, can you take this over and put it in the mailbox? And I thought, I'm not sure I'm going to do that. And I said to her, so you really take it over, put it in the box. So she did it. And 2 days later, the mother wrote slowly a note of apology. I know I overreacted, Zoe. I'm sorry I yelled at you like that. I thought, great, this is good. Guess what? A week later, I'm at a parent-teacher event in the school, and who sits down right next to me? The screaming mother. And I thought, why did it have to be the seat next to me? Because she looked at me, and I looked at her, and we looked at, and that was it. We never, ever talked about it. But for Zoe, it was a great lesson in just saying, I'm sorry. That's really all the mother wanted to hear. Zoe understood why the mother was upset. So that was the beginning of that summer. I don't want any guns in my house. I don't even have a super soaker, although I've thought about getting one from time to time. You ever have a super soaker in your hands? Giant rifles that are water pistols, pump action. You can shoot somebody over there with the water pistol. It's a giant water. Anyway, I'm going to think about it. I think this is going to be a very hard summer. I think we're going to go through a lot of changes, and I think when the debates take place on June 27, a lot is going to be unleashed. Certainly in the meeting, if not in our immediate presence. My concern is that we try to assume a position of understanding and patience, forgiveness for the fact that we're not sinning. Just because we think we're very liberal or progressive doesn't mean everybody else in the world is or even wants to be. Lots of people are very scared of progression. They're scared about the world changing, and that's what they're holding on to. We know that. We know when we hear, even though it's not named on television, that all of this is his retribution rhetoric, his vengeance rhetoric. All of this is going back in time. Nothing positive is said about going forward. So we have to be the ones. We have to be the ones who do this. If you have not registered to vote, and you need to, I suggest you do it right away. I voted in my primary. And when I walked in the Catholic school, the primary election took place. I still laugh when I think about this separation of church and state, and here we are in the Catholic parish home. There were only 16 people. I asked the poll people, the watchers, I jokingly said, "There are going to be Republicans in today?" And he said, "Well, Julie, there have been exactly 16 Democrats and 16 Republicans." And he said, "Oh, interesting." He said, "No, that may change as the day goes on." More Democrats, please. More Democrats. I didn't say that. I did not want to rattle him because I do not know what he is. But I find it amazing that all the poll watchers know which party we belong to. Yeah, I know, but I find it very strange. When I was the minister up in Newton, the capital of Sussex County, one of the most conservative, redneck, and I mean that literally, redneck counties in the state. Every time a Unitarian voted and walked out of the voting station, someone in the room said, "Oh, that's another one of those left-wing Unitarians." Oh. So, we can pray for peace. That's a good place to start. We can pray for peace, as we have done many, many times before. We can pledge ourselves to be of greater service, as our hymn used to suggest. And we can celebrate the goodness in life. We can celebrate that and focus on the present. And with that in mind, I'm going to invite you to rise and sing a hymn with me called "We Sing of Golden Mornings." I don't think we've ever sung it. Carol, you can play that one, right? It's one of the ones I sent you.
It's the number. It's the number.
Is it?
It's number 44.
44.
Okay. Now, I hope this works. I have to mute myself while you sing, so I won't be able to hear you. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm going to play a little introduction and then I'll nod when you should start. Hopefully that will work.
Okay. Just we all stand up.
sound better when you stand.
There we go.
It's a very simple tune, and the words are by none other than Ralph Waldo Emerson, one of the most famous Unitarian ministers who left the ministry.
We sing of praises, praise valleys, mountains, and stately forest trees. We sing of flashing sun and storming rain, of birds among the branches, and springtime come again. We sing the heart courageous, the youthful eager mind. We sing of hopes undaunted, of friendly ways and kind. We sing the roses waiting beneath the deep snows. We sing the earth's great splendor, whose beauty around us flows.
Thank you, Bill. We're going to take the morning offering, and I'm going to